What's up, y'all? It's your girl Shay Renee and Kings of Napa. What a twist. Okay? Y'all, let's get into it, shall we? All right, y'all. So before we get into Kings of Napa, we got to pay the rent, okay? Y'all hit up holisticthings.com. They have all natural items. They are healing beyond the prescription pad, okay? So you go over there for your sea moss gels, your juices, your herbal tea blends that are going to heal it, not bring it back, okay? So y'all go visit them and help a sister out. Let them know I sent you. Use code SHAYRENEE to get 20% off of your next order. All right, so now that we got that out the way, y'all, help me pay the bills and get back into it. So the episode starts off with Mr. Kelvin and August in the office. Kelvin is waiting for her to come on downstairs to her office. First of all, I be getting confused whether this is their house or if it's the business, like the office. I don't know where the hell they be at, but sometimes it look like they at home, and then sometimes it look like they in the office and the office is attached. I don't know, but anyway, he was in there waiting on her. Okay, he was waiting at the door, and she says, "I don't know what you in here for, because you try to treat me like a side chick, and that ain't what's going up and down here." And so he says to her, "You don't understand, August. I'm going through a custody battle for my son right now. And my wife is going to do anything she can do to take me to the cleaners because she knows I don't want to be with her. I really, I'm falling in love with you, and I'm not going to get out of here that easy." Okay. So she says, "Listen, don't effing play with me. Okay. I'm here to let you know I ain't no side chick. I'm the whole entree. Okay. I'm a queen, and I'm sitting on my throne and all that." She go through all this stuff, child, and end up on the desk humping and hunching. So girl, get out of here. You talking all that crap. You gonna be with Kelvin. Okay. But I get it. His wife is hating, and she's, a woman scorned and doing the most. I mean, it is what it is. Unfortunately, that's what women do sometimes. Some women anyway. Moving right along, they're having a family meeting, and August is obviously daydreaming about her session that she just had with Kelvin. And then they start talking about the dessert wine and how they need to go ahead and do what they need to do to beat Sean and Sean, because they on their game and doing whatever they can to blow them out the water. They made a wine that tastes just as good as theirs, and it was cheaper. So now they have to derive a plan to go ahead and throw them out of the game completely. Okay. So everyone asks if it's okay if so Rose comes, Sean is they talking about beating Sean and Sean, and Rose walks in. So Rose comes in, and everyone is asking her if she's okay, and she says she's perfectly fine. She just needed to go to New York and kind of clear her head. And then Rose begins to defend Bridget. She's like, "Oh, but I heard Bridget is, in trouble, or she was in jail or whatever. Like, what's going on? Why is, Bridget loves this family. She would never do anything to hurt anybody." And then little Dana, little stank attitude behind, he's like, "Oh, well, of course you'd be asking about Bridget. Bridget will be okay, but she did it. So it is what it is. We'll talk later. You know what? Let's go talk now." So they leave out to go talk. And I'm like, oh my God. So anyway, next scene, August is sitting with Aunt Yvette because at the family meeting, they suggest getting foot massages and kind of doing something to kind of take their mind off of all the stuff that they're doing and brainstorm what they're going to do to beat out this Sean and Sean wine. So they sitting there, Aunt Yvette acting like she calling somebody, because everything but Jesus, because she's having the craziest orgasm while this man is doing her feet. I was ready for that scene to be over. I was like, "Ooh, pineapples, I'm uncomfortable." So then Aunt Yvette says she knows Rose used to date girls. She was like, listen, let's have a little gossip, August. It's okay to be professional and have a little gossip with your aunt. So she's like, "I bet you," I think she said $20 or something like that, that Rose is going to end up with Bridget. She's like, "Rose is going to end up leaving Dana, and she going to be with Bridget. Mark my words." And I'm like, wow, Aunt Yvette knows the tea. Okay. So August says, I hope they work it out, because if they don't and she ends up not being with Dana, then he gonna be really on my ass, and I ain't got time for that. So they're outside talking, and you know, Rose tells Dana that she really loves him and she wants to work things out. She went to New York. She has a clear head now, and she's really gung ho about starting this family. Like, she's like, we really need to start our family. Like, I'm so excited about our future and, our children and all this, that, and the third. And Dana's sitting there, knowing what he did. Okay. Because in the future, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. This little motherfucker got a damn vasectomy. And knowing he did that, he's sitting up there coming for daggone Rose, talking about, yeah, and he lied. He gonna say, yeah, I went to Bridget's house to drop off some files and check on and talk about Aunt Melanie, or some shit he lied about. He made up some dumbass lie. And he was like, and I saw y'all kissing. I'm like, okay, you saw them kissing. Why you just now saying something? Like, what was this, like your ace in the hole? And y'all was going back and forth texting. Like, if you didn't tell her that you saw them kissing, why the hell did she leave? Maybe she really left because she was thinking about maybe she should be with Bridget over you. Who knows? I don't know what that whole dynamic is, but anyway, he lied, talking about, he saw them, knowing he good and goddamn well he bugged that damn house. But Rose tried to reassure him. She's like, listen, I'm not into Bridget. We are married. I'm trying to have kids. Let's move forward with our life. So the next thing, August eats lunch with her friend. And her friend works at the hospital. She's talking about Aunt Melanie's recovery, and how she's been trying to check on her and make sure she's good, and really trying to take the best of care of her. And she tells August that, she says, I really just want to be honest with you. Bridget asked me to be a character witness for her, and I told her yes. And August is like, why would you do that? Like, that's like, she is guilty. We have so much evidence that she is guilty. Okay. And she says, August, there has to be a part of you that knows that Bridget didn't do this. And she's like, do you believe she didn't do it with all this evidence? She was like, well, I don't know if she did it or not, but I'm still going to be there for her. And she's like, you really have changed since you became president of this company. And I'm like, y'all in this narrative about August, she's doing what she has to do for her business. And all the damn evidence pointed towards Bridget being a damn extortionist. So she calls August heartless, and she walks out and goes back to work. Child, you and your scrub along. Get on out of here. You done ate my damn lunch for free, and then you want to come ragging on me because the evidence says that Bridget freaking did it. Girl, bye. Get on. Bye. Go be the witness. Goodbye, ma'am. You and your scrubs. Next scene, Bridget is leaving her house, and Rose pulls up on her. Rose wants her to know that she came to check on her to see if she was all right. And Bridget asks if she's back with Dana. Then Rose tells her she loves Dana and wants to work things out with him. He is her husband, and even though they had some really good, her and Bridget had some really good times, she loves Dana. So Bridget gets upset. Bridget's like, I see. So she gets upset, and she's like, yeah, can you move your car? I gotta go to meet my lawyer. I don't have time for this. But I'm like, Rose, what the hell did you go over her house for? Like, she's out of jail. Your boy already mad at you because you done kissed her. Like, what was really your purpose of going over there? Like, I didn't understand this whole scene. But anyway, she storms, like, Bridget leaves, and it is what it is. So Bridget goes to the office, and Kelvin is kind of cross-examining her, basically asking her some of the questions, or the main questions that they're going to be asking her on the stand. And she gives her responses, and he's like, you are not ready to get on the stand. She's like, yes, I am. You got to put me on the stand. You got to put me on the stand. And he's like, you're not ready. So she storms off and says, you've got to put me on the stand, and August needs to be stopped. I really don't understand her whole deal with August. I feel like she is jealous of August because August grew up as the daughter of Reginald. Like, nobody knew that you were his kid. Like, you didn't even find out until you were an adult. So for you to have this consistent jealousy of your sister cousin, it's gotta go. Like, I get it. You're mad at her because she didn't believe you. But put yourself in her shoes. You can't just, there's a tunnel that you just can't fall all the way deep into when shit is just real. Like, it's see the person called from your house. Like it's all this evidence that's pointing towards you doing it, and you was doing some shady stuff, and you didn't tell them that you knew that your father was really your father. Like what the hell did you expect them to do? Like if the evidence is the evidence, then I don't know why you mad at August, honestly. Like, I really don't understand that. I don't understand why this is all being placed on her, especially when she knows that Dana was the one that called the police on her. So August actually has been her biggest advocate throughout this whole process. August turned her mama around to get her job back and all of that. But yet and still in all of this, you continue to blame August for everything. But it was really everybody else around August, which is the culprits. So I just really think that August is just getting hit in the crossfire from Bridget, and it's really fucked up. It's messed up. So moving right along, Grace redesigns the wine formula, and they said it was really good, but but August said it just needs a little kick. And so August gets a phone call as they're talking about this new mixture that Grace created, and it's the extortionist. So they're like, well, damn, I thought it was Bridget. Like, or is she working with somebody? Like, what is going on? And the extortionist is like, oh, you thought it was over? It's not over. And they think the person is basically just working with Bridget. So in the next scene, Dana, August, and Quincy speak with the lawyer to set up a plan to so-called catch Bridget and her accomplice in the act. The lawyer says, go ahead and place the money like normal, and then we're going to have the police there to catch them in the act when they go to get the money. Now, here's my thing. Why y'all ain't do that in the beginning? Y'all could have called the police before y'all went and placed this imaginary money. I get it. Y'all wanted to protect your family. The person was saying that they could see your mama and all this, that, and the third. Because, from what we find out of who it is, obviously they had access to getting on the land and things like that. But clearly anybody have access to y'all damn house, judging from the people that just walk through the goddamn door and just ask y'all questions randomly, like the man at the end of the episode. But we're going to get into that. But anyway, in the next scene, Vanessa and Christian, which Christian, poor Christian, his character is the definition of a fuck boy. Mm, 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 mm. I don't know what to think about Christian, y'all. I don't know. Christian's character is a little puzzling to me. But they at the hospital and they talk about Christian says that he's pretty much proud of Vanessa for going off and being an anchor and all this, that, and the third. And Vanessa is like, well, if I had to continue to pursue that, I wouldn't have you. Like, so I'm happy that I did it, but I'm happy that you came out of it as well. And he says, well, go back and do it. Like, you should go follow your dreams and do it now. And then, she's like, you know what? Maybe I will. Then they start talking about this chick that he keeps bringing around. She's like, yeah, and what about this girl that you keep bringing to my house at nighttime? Am I ever going to meet her? And he's like, nah, I'm not ready for you to meet her yet or whatever. So this conniving little heifer that he's talking about, she keeps on asking him about meeting his mother. And I thought it was just really weird, but now I know why. But we're going to get into that. So as they're talking back and forth, he's talking about him having so much swag, and that's why the girl want to be with him. I'm like, Christian, you don't have any swag, okay? People like you that think that when you wear a bunch of labels, that means you look good are stupid. Because nothing that you wear is that dope or that amazing. And your mindset is exactly why this girl about to get the fuck on over you. But anyway, as they're talking about his mindless stupidity, Melanie ends up waking up. So Vanessa goes to her bedside and she says, can you get Bridget to the hospital, please? So Melanie is now going to Vanessa's going to figure out how to hurry up and get Bridget to the hospital. So the next thing, August tells Kelvin that they want her to wear a wire. She's like, I know we're being honest with each other. So I want to tell you, they want me to wear a wire to catch Bridget and get her on all these extortionist charges. And he's like, that can't be. Bridget, that she tells him about when the extortionist called the day before. The day before. And he's like, that can't be. Bridget was in my office. We were talking. He said, but she did storm out of here and make a phone call. So I don't know. He was like, let me call a friend of mine and I'm going to see if we can, get the towers and see where the call came from. And we're going to iron this thing out and see who did what and who to what. Okay. So the next thing, the doctor says they need to keep Melanie on observation, even though she's now awake. And Vanessa says she promised herself that if Melanie woke up, she would let her go and love her like she loved her before she knew all the stuff about her and Reginald. And Melanie tells her that Reginald really loved Vanessa, and that he always was in a constant state of thinking that she was going to leave him and that she really just didn't want to be with him. And Vanessa says, look, if we're going to move on in our relationship and forget about the negativity from the past, we have to be honest with each other, and we just got to stop all this BSery. Okay, like no more of the lies and deceit. Like, let's just move on. And really, we don't need to be talking about Reginald no more. Let's just, he is gone now, unfortunately. Let's just move on. So Melanie says, you know, Bridget knew for a while that Reginald was her father. And, she just kept it a secret for years. And she says she hopes Bridget can forgive her for all of that. And Vanessa says, she's going to forgive you. It's going to be okay. So in the next scene, Kelvin gets a call, and they realize that the call came from East Napa, which was nowhere near where she was with Kelvin. And August says, well, that doesn't mean anything. That can mean that it was the accomplice helping her. And she says, and by the way, my brothers are not going to care. They're going to think that, they're convinced that Bridget did it. And if I somehow miraculously change my position and how I feel, they're going to, think I'm flip-flopping. And so Kelvin says, let's go for dinner tonight and brainstorm and just figure this all out and see what could have happened. Okay. See if we're looking at this. We need to look at this at some different angles to really just figure out what's the goings on. Because if Bridget is a part of this, we got to figure out how to get her ass. Okay. So then Rose calls the doctor and says, she's really excited. She's happy. She's back with Dana and they're trying to work it out. And she calls the doctor and she says, I just got my period and I'm ready to go ahead full-fledged with the fertility. So after this is done, we can go ahead and use my husband's sperm so that we can get pregnant and have this baby. So the lady on the phone, the nurse, the fertility specialist, whoever, she said, yeah, we called your husband. Ain't no sperm up in that sample that he gave us. We done told him that. He ain't tell you? Yeah. Ain't no sperm. He ain't got none. Ain't no sperm count, no levels, no nothing. It's a 0. Okay. Ain't no life in your man's sperm. Okay. So Rose is confused. She's like, well, how the hell he don't got nothing swimming? That's crazy. She's like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to have a conversation with sir. Okay. So Bridget gets to the hospital and she tells Melanie she's in quick. She's like, Mom, I'm so happy you're awake. I'm so happy to see you. She's like, Mom, I'm in quicksand. And Melanie, gets all emotional and tells Vanessa, we got to figure this out. August has to help. This is crazy. She's like, we got to figure this out. She's like, Vanessa's like, well, how did anybody get anything from your house? Like, how did people get in your house or whatever? And she was like, who has keys to your house? So Bridget's like, August is the only one that has keys to my house. And so Vanessa calls August and she's like, where is the key to Bridget's house? And August looks and she figures out that she don't have the key anymore because the extortionist came in her house and stole the key to Bridget's house so that he can steal her phone and clone it so it could look like she was helping him out. So she puts the window. So August is on the phone. She says, I can't find the keys. But as she's walking around, she finally puts the damn window down. I'm like, well, August, you seen that damn window was open like 2 episodes ago. Why the fuck you ain't closed the window then, girl? Okay. So in the next scene, August is at the restaurant waiting for Kelvin, and Chris comes over to talk with August. And Kelvin texts her saying that he can't meet. Let's just go ahead and meet up at the house later because he got swamped with some work. So August got the pictures of the car that was in question because Quincy had took a picture of a bunch of cars and stuff that he thought could potentially be the extortionist. So they go ahead and he sees the pictures on the table, but August wants to go to the bathroom. She's like, yeah, let me go ahead and I'm gonna go. Chris is talking to her. He's like, well, I sent the staff home, but I, don't leave until you've had you never leave without having some of my mom's or my family's famous pie or whatever. She was like, I'm gonna take you up on that. Let me go to the bathroom real quick. So on the way to the bathroom, August looks at the car outside that's in the, the little back alleyway. And it's the same car that's in one of those pictures that she sees. So she's like, interesting. So she goes out there, the dent matches up and all of that. So Chris comes by. He's like, oh, so you have a sudden interest in my car. Everything okay? So she goes back in, she goes to the bathroom or whatever. And so she goes back to sit down, and they're going back and forth. And she realizes that he's on to her and she on to his ass. So he ends up running after her, trying to trap her. She calls Kelvin before she runs. So I guess she left her phone at the table and runs. So, because Kelvin hears all of this stuff. So eventually, of course, the SWAT team, the police come in, but they go back and forth this whole scene with Chris and August. He knocks her out, but then he ties her up in a chair, and they're talking. And as she wakes up, Chris tells her that he was the one that cloned Bridget's phone to frame her, and he broke into August's house and stole the key to Bridget's house so that he can get her phone and clone it. So then Chris says her father was Reginald was very deceptive. He was very deceptive. He came to, apparently Reginald bought the land that they have the vineyard on from Chris's grandfather. And he says that the grandfather sold the land to Reginald out of spite because he didn't want to give it to his dad, which was the grandfather's son. So August is like, well, that ain't my damn problem that your grandfather was, selling the land. He was trying to get the money or whatever. And who knows why he didn't want to just give it to his son. He just probably just wanted to profit off of it or whatever the case may be. So, he feels like the grandfather played him because he feels like Reginald played the grandfather because he said that Reginald made himself seem like some poor, struggling, guy when he really was a surgeon at the hospital. But here's my thing. It don't fucking matter what the hell he did. If he couldn't be too poor and struggling if he had enough money to buy a whole vineyard. Let's be very clear about that. The delusions of grandeur of some WPs. I don't get it. Like, you thought that you were doing you thought your grandfather felt like he was doing some charitable contribution because he decided to sell his land to this black man. No, he even said we could have sold that land to anybody. Well, you sold it to Reginald. And why did you sell it? Because clearly he needed the money more than the person that was buying it. So what are you talking about? None of this stuff that you're saying makes any sense. Clearly your father couldn't buy it. He ain't had no money. So your grandfather didn't have any confidence probably in him doing anything with the land to make money off of it. So he probably was like, let me go ahead and sell this and get my coins because you ain't about to do shit with this, with the two braids. Get the hell on. So anyway, as they go along, he yells saying, you do not get to talk to. So August says, you probably, didn't have the money to buy it because Chris says he went to Reginald and tried to buy the land back. Because apparently Reginald, when he bought the land, he sat on it for 2 years and he actually sold Sean and Sean a portion of the land. So he was smart enough to make even more money off of it. So Chris came to him at some point and was like, I want to buy the land back from you or whatever. And Reginald apparently laughed him off. Yeah, I'm gonna laugh your ass off too if you ain't coming at me with my money. Like, how much you trying to pay me for this, sir? Do you know how much money I'm making off of this land with my winery? You better have some major coinage if you trying to come for me and my family's livelihood. Are you serious? You can't come to me with no pipe dreams. Cause you here as a waiter at this restaurant. How the fuck you got money to pay for this land? Yeah, get on out of here, wasting my time. So then he yells saying, do you know who I am? After August says, well, you probably ain't had the money. He says, do you know who I am? You know who my family is? We're getting played. I feel like we're not going to get played by a bunch of, and August says, a bunch of what? Say it. A bunch of what? Huh? Who is them, ho? Say it. And August was like, yeah, say it with your chest. And so he said, a bunch of people that have no history here. This is ours. This is our blood. And August says, this is our land, and it's our blood, sweat, and tears that created all of this land. By the way, if I have you know, you don't get to walk up to a black man and take his land like this is Central Park, Black Wall Street, or the whole goddamn country for that matter. Unless you're on the reparations committee, your white privilege ass has no say so. I don't care if my dad laughed at you. I'm laughing at you. And she gets out of the tie up that he put on her hands and ends up getting him in the chokehold. And as she's choking him, almost about to choke the life out of him, Kelvin and the whole daggone SWAT team, police force comes up in there and saves his raggedy ass life. So Kelvin and August are sitting off to the side, and she's like, "Oh my God, how the hell am I going to repair my relationship with Bridget? Because I sat up here and I was blaming her the whole time for this. Like, I really in my head thought that Bridget did this." And Kelvin's like, "You'll figure it out. You'll get it done. Y'all will get back to normal." And I'm like, sis, I don't know how you about to work that out. So getting back to it, before all of that, during all of that, Rose asked Dana about the sperm sample, and she finds out he got a vasectomy 2 years ago because he really just didn't want to have any children, because he didn't want to have any children that come out like him. And I'm like, Dana, come on, sir. Like, you got to share stuff like that with your wife, because you are making choices for the both of you and taking away her choice. Like, she obviously is gung-ho and excited about having a kid and, moving on with the next stages of her life. And all you care about is this business and how to make more money and all this, that, and the third. It's like you're very selfish. You're all about yourself. And so she was storming out like, "I can't believe you. You talking about all this, let's be honest with each other," because he was talking about, "Remember when we got married and we drove to Vegas and we said we'll always be honest with each other?" She was like, "Yeah, remember that? You lied. You a lying little mother. Like, really? You gave me this whole speech and your ass been lying to me all this time." So she's getting ready to storm out. He was like, "Yeah, I knew you'd always leave me for some woman. You probably going, what about Judah? Yeah, what are you going back to Judah's? Are you going over Bridget's house?" And she said, "No, I'm leaving because you're an asshole. Not because I'm bisexual. Don't try to use that as an excuse. You fucked up. That's what you did. You lied to me. You deceived me. You are a liar, and I don't want no parts of you." And he's like, "Well, you're going to lose your job because it's in my daddy's will that you can only work here if we're married." And she was like, "Fuck you and your daddy. Okay? You ain't your daddy. I don't give a fuck about this job and none of this shit. You can kiss my ass." That's what she basically said, but I just kind of made it sound better. But anyway, moving right along. Rose, so after all of that stuff so everyone tries Grace's blend as well, and everyone likes it. Dana is acting standoffish because obviously he just had that situation with Rose and he's just really quiet. And so Bridget walks in and she says she's only there because Reginald wanted her there. And everyone apologizes and asks, what is her idea to fix the wine? Because they're trying to fix it so that it can be better than Sean and Sean's, but affordable as well. So Christian proposes adding the bourbon. And then Bridget says, "Let's use my hybrid grapes that we have in the back of the vineyard." So she said, no, before she gave them the idea, she said, "Before I give y'all my idea on what to do, I want a 20% raise and I want to be made vice president." So August was like, "Yeah, depending on what your idea is, I'm down for that." So Bridget gives her idea. Everybody loves it. Yvette says she will talk to Jason, the distributor, Jason is distributor babe, which is also her boyfriend, and he happens to have the distributor deals. So she says she's going to talk to him to see if they can get him back on board. Jason immediately gets his boss over there. They try the, Grace, I think is her name. She hurries up and gets the blend done. They label it. All that is done. The boss loves it. So they end up August says, okay, great. I'm glad you love it. The only way that we will go ahead with this deal is if you get rid of Sean and distribute our wine exclusively. And so she said, okay, fine. So Jason is like, oh, I'm glad because they are annoying to deal with anyway. So Christian is at the club with his so-called girlfriend or whatever the hell she is, fuck buddy at night. I don't know. And two dudes that's supposed to be investors are there sitting at in the club with them. They taste his bourbon and they're like, yeah, we're going to invest in it. And so he's like, yeah, whatever they want, get it for them or whatever on my tab. I'm like, why do you need investors? Your father left you money to get this going. You're putting the bourbon in the wine. Why you need investors again? And how do this girl know anybody? I told y'all, fuck boy, definition of. So anyway, Bridget, it all ends with, so even in another scene, I'm sorry, we got to go back to Christian and the girlfriend. But before that, Yvette's boyfriend proposes to her. He got a ring sitting on top of the daggone cake, Jason. I'm like, what was that the guy's name? Jason, yeah. And he's like, yeah, we getting old. We need to just go ahead and do this. I ain't got time to waste. So Yvette didn't answer yet. So I'm interested to see if she gonna go ahead and marry this man. So then Christian's girlfriend, after their whole night of supposedly meeting with the investors, her phone, she gets a text message. And the message is from somebody named Cornelius, which I guess is her cousin or one of the guys that was sitting at the table. They're her accomplice. And she's like, I told you this nigga was green. He's so stupid, so easy to swindle. We about to make a whole lot of money off of him. So they about to swindle his ass for some money. And hopefully Big Sis and Big Bro or his mama can sniff out the bullshit before they get screwed over again. Y'all just got rid of the extortionists. Now you gonna have these people trying to get up in your damn pockets. Because I knew it was a reason why the girl wanted to meet the mama so bad. But I'm pretty sure Vanessa would have uncovered the girl's bullshit right away because she was just too into their business. Like if you screwing dude, why you so into his business and what his family is doing? She was just a little too eager. So anyway, moving right along, Bridget is Rose is at Bridget's house and she tells her no one reached out to her when she left and no one, really seemed to care about why she was gone. And I'm like, that's a lie. Christian called her and was like, you need to hurry up and come back. I hope everything's okay. But, Dana is spiraling out of control or whatever the case may be. So Christian did reach out. And mind you, you were only gone for a couple of days. And Dana told them that you went to New York, to their penthouse, by the way, in New York. And you do that often for marketing stuff. So why would they think anything is wrong if your husband told them that nothing was wrong? So she all in this vengeance is mine mode, opening wine with Bridget, talking about all this stuff she gonna do to get back at them. And she done with Dana and all this, that, and the third. I'm like, girl, bye. So anyway, Bridget is she's at the hospital with her mother and August comes and before she sees August, she walks out to go get some tea. The white man that I thought was her accomplice in this whole thing, because that just looks so sketch, he distributes artwork. So he was actually going to sell Bridget's artwork, but because she was going through all that court stuff, he dropped her. And so she was like, niggas ain't loyal. You try to drop me and I was innocent. Yeah, I'm dropping you now. So you go find somebody else's art to sell. And he's like, well, I think you're making a big mistake. She's like, oh, no. I'm good. I'm the talent behind these paintings. I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna do what I need to do. But I'm gonna do it without you. So August walks in and she's basically like, I'm so sorry, Bridget. How can we fix this? And Bridget is like, you know what, August, I really love you. I'm always going to love you. You're my sister. But I can't get over what you did. Like, it's really messed up how you treated me. Like, you really were so gung-ho on getting me. And it's just, I can't handle it. She's like, right now, we just need to focus on business. And that's that. And you need to give me my space. And so August is sad, like, damn, I really fucked up. But here's my thing. I just think it's silly that nobody can understand where August was coming from. If it's solid evidence from what it seems like that Bridget was a part of this, she has to open her eyes and see where somebody could have believed this. But anyway, that's it. That is it for the episode. Oh, at the end, I'm sorry, a man walks into Vanessa's house. Okay, apparently he bought Sean and Sean's land, and he's like, yeah, I'm a hotel, just like I build hotels and, you know, properties and things like that. So he's basically going to build properties on the Sean and Sean land. And so he propositioned Vanessa because she thought he was the pool boy when he walked in. Mind you, how is everybody able to just walk up in this house? Where's the security? Like, this man should not have been able to walk up in these people's house like this. So he's propositioning Vanessa basically like, I want to buy your land too so I can build some properties or whatever. She's like, well, my land ain't for sale, Jack. And he's like, oh, everything is for sale for a price. So I'm like, oh Lord, here go this fool about to try to shake them down too and tear some shit up so that he can get that damn land. So I don't know if this was set up like a finale episode. So I don't know if another episode is coming on next week or not. But it's about to be a whole lot of shit going on. So anyway, Vanessa is like, August, we have a problem, because the man ends up leaving, and August can be seen sitting in the father's chair that he used to sit in and look over the land and smoke a cigar. But she just had a bottle of wine in her hand and she was drinking. So I'm like, okay, Kings of Napa, you got me. I do like this show. I really do like this show. That damn Dana irks my entire existence. Christian is a bona fide fuckboy. August needs to listen to herself and stop listening to everybody else. And Bridget needs to build a bridge and get over it. Okay. I just feel like she needs to understand the forest for the trees and know that August was just doing what common sense comes with. Like, I don't understand why she can't identify why August could see potentially that she could have been a part of this. But I don't know, y'all. I'm interested to see how this season is going to continue, or if this is the finale and how they're going to start out with the next season. I don't know. But Kings of Napa, I'm loving it. All right, y'all. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with anybody else that watches this show too. Go to healisticthings.com and make a purchase, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.